guys, I'm Tiffany. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm discussing all the books I read in November. The first book I read was How to Hack a Heartbreak. Swipe right for love, swipe left for disaster. By day, Mel Strickland is an underemployed help desk tech at a startup incubator Hatch, where she helps entitled programmers, hatchlings, who can't even fix their own laptops, but are apparently the next wave of startup geniuses. And by night, she goes on bad dates with misbehaving dudes she's matched with on the ubiquitous dating app Flutter. But after one dick pic too many, Mel has had it. Using her brilliant coding skills, she designs an app of her own, one that allows users to log harassers and abusers in online dating space. It's called Jerk Alert, and it goes viral overnight. Mel is suddenly in way over her head. Worse still, her almost boyfriend, the dreamy Alex Hernandez, the only non-douchey guy at Hatch, has no idea she's the brains behind the app. Soon, Mel is faced with a terrible choice, one that could destroy her career, her love life, and friendships, or change her life forever. So this is going to be my unfiltered review, just purely, I had so much to say, I typed it all out, so that's what I'm going to be sharing. I haven't done really any edits with it, so it's just going to be full on my first moment thoughts. I was very intrigued by the concept of the story, plus the cover was very cute. I felt certain this would be a good contemporary romance. Unfortunately, the story had several contradicting themes. Despite several instances of heinous and outright despicable actions from men to women, the main character's friend deflects with the age-old, "not all men." In addition, the main character herself states, some men. Do these women or the author herself realize men would never correct themselves or their buddies when generalizing about women? Not to mention, even if they did, to say women saying something about men versus men saying something about women is not the same at all. Just like this story, women on social media call out misogynistic behaviors from men and still come to men's aid with, "Oh, but not all men," or "my boyfriend's different. The feminism leaving my body when I'm around my man." Please. To acknowledge the dangers women face at the hands of men is not the same as men complaining about women. Their jokes are typically their true feelings about women. Women talking bad about men, if they even do it at all, is not on equal ground with men talking bad about women. A man talking bad about women, he calls women misogynistic slurs or advocates for male violence against women. A woman talking bad about men, she is frustrated by something bad that happened to her or a fellow woman at the hands of a man or this patriarchal society in general. She's calling out the threats and reality of male violence. My impression from the synopsis was that this would be a feminist story. It's not. The main character works for a toxic tech company that is filled with sexist tech bros and leaders who expect her to never defend herself and always advocate for the men's feelings. The one guy who is decent sticks with this culture, assumes the main character is paranoid, and is so ignorant he doesn't even know the reality of the dangers women face in general. There's this whole part, it's actually her first date with him, where she and her friends are talking to him, and he's like, "Oh, well, if someone's being bad on, say, dating apps or social media, you can just report him and he'll go away." And it's like, no, that's not what happens. And there's all sorts of things that he's like, "Oh, I had no idea." Well, of course you can be ignorant about that. You're not the one dealing with it. Despite this, however, the main character claims he's perfect and wants to jump in bed with him the first chance she gets. For their first date, she goes through every kind of painstaking grooming to make herself look flawless, aka inhuman. There are many instances where he appears to be lying or skeevy. Now, why do you think that is? Is it because that's who he is? Or is it supposed to be a lesson for the main character to learn to not be paranoid and distrustful thanks to her history dealing with a cheating father? Ding, ding, ding. While I believe it's fine to have this be a theme in the book, it shouldn't negate his sketchy behavior. If he is as good of a person as the main character or author wants us to believe, he wouldn't be so suspicious. The readers would be able to tell he's a genuinely great guy, but we don't get evidence of his excellence. At most, we get the bare minimum. He was a rare breed of man, one who didn't see women as an objective or a threat. Wow, what a catch. Jerk Alert is the website the main character creates in response to several distasteful exchanges on the dating app Flutter. She received several sexual images from one match and was stood up by another. She was also frustrated by the love interest who flirted with her while he was supposed to be on a date with another woman. I think Jerk Alert would be a very good thing to implement in the real world. Keep women from getting with guys who are already married, a sexual deviant, or treat them like trash. Despite this app being a great tool for many women, the main character gets a bit MRA, thinking these women are trashing and bullying guys. Excuse me, calling out what these guys did is not bullying. Further into the book, she doesn't own Jerk Alert, so logically, yeah, she should delete the app. The problem is the biggest reason why she deletes it has to do with the MRA rhetoric I brought up here. Instead of seeing the benefits Jerk Alert brings, she scraps it and creates a new app, In Person. It works as an exclusive singles get-together where the organizers take your phones so you're in the moment mingling with others. Hey, that's great! But the same problems from Flutter and other dating apps could still happen now that Jerk Alert is gone. The cheaters and uber-sexual men could easily be a part of In Person. There's no vetting strategy. Before she gets rid of Jerk Alert, Flutter reaches out to her. The site has a huge following and it's gone viral. The Flutter executives fly her out to California from New York, first class, and set her up with a great hotel. Naturally, the main character assumes Flutter wants to work with her. Unfortunately for her, all these guys want is the database so they can add it to Flutter. They want the review section so both men and women can rate their dates. All she'd get is a payout, and that's it for her. Right away, the main character can tell how bad this would be. Not to mention, the executives would remove the aspect of anonymity, which would be very dangerous. As they discuss Flutter, she finds out all these guys want to do is data mine. They want discourse. They couldn't care less about people finding a match. The head of the company certainly doesn't care about what women face on their app. The main character books it out of there and goes home. But then she just decides to go with the deal. Huh? That's so many layers of bad. Why should we root for this woman? She is fine throwing everyone else under the bus. This decision still has me confused even after finishing the book. When she gets back to work, it turns out since she sometimes worked on the code for Jerk Alert at work, the tech company owns it. Plus, she's fired. I forgot to mention, but at this point she's also broken up with the love interest, so she's got no money, no prospects, and she is frightened. She wallows in self-pity at home until her friends encourage her to get outside and join them. It's here she gets her light bulb moment and In Person is born. Naturally, she resolves things with the love interest and everything works out great. Happy endings, the end. A lot of this book was boring. She does work, codes her app, spends time with the love interest, and converses with her friends and roommate. I thought there would be more to this book. I didn't appreciate her downplaying the disgusting natures of many of these men, or when she applauded the love interest for the bare minimum. I think this story could have worked with a better author. All I want to know now is how to hack a good story, because this certainly wasn't it. A female coder creates an app that allows women to log abusers and harassers on dating apps. I think the concept had potential, but it wasn't well done. The main character accepts and applauds bare minimum effort from the love interest, and the ending message that calling out bad behaviors is just as bad as the actual behaviors was unbelievably ridiculous. And I do have a full review of this book, so I'll definitely link it below in the description. The next book I read was Pinkalicious. So this past year, I've really been in a reading slump, but things were getting better. September, I read 12 books. In October, I read 7. But this month was kind of a disaster. It was kind of a bad month, you know? So unfortunately, I was back in a reading slump and I just really couldn't pick up anything. So I was like, okay, I've got this little kid's book, let's check it out. So Pinkalicious is a children's picture book about a little girl who eats so many pink cupcakes she ends up turning pink. Reading this brought back childhood memories. And I still like how cute the pink cartoon food is. Not at all what I expected to read this year. The next book I read was Purplicious. Pinkalicious struggles to appreciate her love of the color pink as everyone in school makes fun of her for it. It isn't until she meets a classmate who combines blue and pink to make purple that Pinkalicious realizes she shouldn't care what anyone else thinks about her favorite color. So this was another reading slump pick. I definitely had more fun with Pinkalicious than this one. This wasn't my cup of tea. And the last book I read in November was Killer Temptation. An ex-cop, now in security, is hired to protect the high-heeled wonder from a stalker. Despite his attempts to keep it professional, neither of them can resist their attraction to one another. This was my first romance suspense. I like mystery, I like romance, but this book did neither genre justice. I couldn't care less about the fashion industry, but at least I got through a book. And those are all the books I read in November. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. It would really help and support me. See you guys next time. Bye!